amazing episode. Like, I'm recording today after a whole month of not recording. Today is on the 28th of September, and the last time I recorded, I think was, I don't know what date, but it was towards the end of August, because like that last week of August, I'd already finished recording. I was just editing and putting up the episodes on YouTube. So it has been an entire month since I last recorded. You'd think that I've forgotten even the intro, but apparently I haven't forgotten my intro. I listen to the episodes whenever they come out. So at least I've also been keeping in touch with the channel. But yo, it feels like it's such a long time, my friends. But yeah, I'm glad to be doing this again. It's going to be tough just recording and editing, recording and editing, because, as I said, you never know when I have Wi Fi and when I do not have. So whenever I have, I make sure that I record and record and record and then just edit and put them out. Like, I'll be doing this like 4 episodes per week, which might seem like nothing, but it's a lot, especially if you're recording 2 episodes at night and then the next day you edit them and then you put them up on CapCut and do the whole process. Then the next day again, you record two more and then you do the same process for the others. So it's just like that every other week, four, four, four. It can be so tiring, but yo, I'm glad to be doing this. I'm glad that I have a platform where I can get to do this. And I'm glad that I have a few people who come and listen every single week. As I said before, even if it's just 5 people, I'm glad that there's someone who actually sits down and wants to listen to what I'm saying, because that's not an easy thing to just decide, like, yeah, I'm going to be supporting this person. But you guys come out for me, and I'm super, super grateful. For those who do not even finish, like, you start, and then after my my intro, you're like, yeah, do says I'm out. Please come on, give me a chance, okay? Give me a chance. Listen to the end. I'm not boring, I promise. And yeah, you just subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. When last recorded, we were at 35. I think the last time I checked, we were at 37 or 38. I'm not so sure, but yeah, somewhere there. But I hope that we continue growing. Please, tafadhali, subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. When you watch this, just tell your friends, share it out on your pages, and let your people also see and ask them to please subscribe and support a sister. Okay. On today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of a Kenyan movie, An Instant Dad. An Instant Dad is a 2023 Kenyan movie written and directed by Jennifer Gatero. The cast members include Hannah Wanjiku, she plays Amy, Blessing Lungaho plays Ricky, Peter Kamau plays Kim, Peter Munyaka plays Justin, Alice Ngina plays Ricky's mom, Victoria Njoroge plays Laura, Neville Misati plays George, Maureen Mutegi plays Jackie, June Jenga plays Stacy, Tori Wachanga plays Leah, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers like me, I'd urge you to continue with this. If you do not like spoilers, please leave right now. Go to Netflix, watch the movie, and then come back and listen to me and tell me if you agree with me or if you do not agree with me in the comments down below, because this is the official spoiler alert. An Instant Dad follows the life of one playboy, or rather a bachelor, Ricky, played by Blessing Lungaho. He is like wanaume tu wa Nairobi. You know, like how the men in Nairobi behave. Like, they want to be free. They don't want any attachments to anybody, any commitments. He doesn't have a child, blah, blah, blah. But then it starts with him at home with a woman. So the first scene is of a woman washing her hands and, preparing some breakfast like fruits, bread with, I think that was beef brawn of pork brawn or something like that in between the bread, and then fruit, blah blah blah, like just breakfast dishes. And then she takes it to the room for him, and this man wakes up, sees her, and he says this line that I think I had in another movie. Like, the thought of someone walking around my house while I'm asleep gives me joy. Because he was shocked. Actually, the first scene, you wouldn't even know that she's not the girlfriend, because she was like a one night stand or something. But she woke up feeling all the love that she had been shown the previous night. And so she decided, well, I'm going to make this man breakfast. And so she did. And then when she took it to him, he was like, mm-mm. But anyway, so he has a deal with one of his friends, that's Kim, played by Peter Kamau, and he has saved him as mom. So he gives him a signal, and then he calls. That is Kim. He calls, and the phone rings like mom. It's mom who's calling, and of course the lady will feel uncomfortable and leave because yo, I'm not going to meet your mom after we just spent one night together. And so that's what he does. And so we move to to Kim. He's in a club with his friends, other group of friends, and they're talking about what just happened. And so he also joins them, Ricky, and they talk about this entire thing, and they're bashing one of their friends because he's like, the Nick Cannon of Kenya. Like, he's just a baby daddy, siring children left, right, and center. And I'll talk about that later. Let me just continue. So they do this entire thing, and they're just playboys. They're bachelors who have people. One of them, I think, is married. The other one is not attached to anybody. The other one is a baby mama. And then there's Ricky, who is a social, fuck boy, and so on and so forth. Like, that's the group of friends that this man hangs around. And none of them really wants commitment apart from the married guy, who also complains a little bit about it. But anyway, so they keep doing this and they talk, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, I do not have a kid out there, and I always strap up and everything. So he goes back home because he got a message, like there was a lady that he was supposed to hang out with. And so when he goes home and he changes and he's waiting for this lady, someone knocks on his door. And when he goes to open, thinking that it's the lady that you're supposed to meet, turns out to be Amy, his daughter. So Amy is there, and she says that the mom died. She'd been staying with the grandma, but then the grandma is too sick. She's now in an elderly home. And so she got an Uber and sent her to her dad. And so he's like, oh, okay. He remembers the mom, the child's mom, because they were together like a while. She was like his first sweetheart, like childhood sweetheart and stuff like that, and they sort of grew up together or something. And so he accepts, like, okay, fine, come in. But then he's battling with it because he doesn't want to be a dad. He's not ready to be a dad. He's not ready to give up his fuckboy life and everything that he stands for. And so he's conflicted. He calls his cousin and talks to her, and he talks to his cousin and tells her to look into, any other family member that could take her in, because he wasn't ready to be a parent. And so he does that. She starts doing that, and he continues living his life. One time he sends the daughter to the cousin so that he pretending that he's going to work, but he wasn't going to work. He went and hung out with his friends, who by this time knew. One of them knew, Kim knew, and so Kim told the others, and of course they made fun of him a little bit. And then he had to go home with 3 women. Like, yo, hata kama ni stamina. And when the cousin came back, because she had to return the daughter so she can go to work as well, and so she got upset, gave him a few words of wisdom. But then, yeah, so they start spending time together. He didn't know what to do with the daughter, or rather with the child, but somehow they made it work. And eventually the mom also called, the real mom now, not Kim, and she was like, bring my granddaughter to me. I want to meet her. And he was like, I'm not going to keep her. She insisted, like, even if I don't care who's going to raise her, but I need to see my granddaughter. And so he takes her to the village. They see the mom and they talk and they play games. The mom tells Amy stories about the dad while he was young and things that he used to do, blah, 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 and all of those things. And then the dad, they never talk about the dad, but he passed on. So apparently the loss that Ricky felt when the dad died is what made him leave Amy's mom. because he wasn't ready to love anybody, and he got depressed, he got into alcohol and all of these things, and that's why he walked away. And so he never regained himself. So Amy's mom had told her a version of the story, like this lady met this guy and they loved each other so much, blah 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 blah. Like, it's an entire story, but it's a beautiful story. It's sad, but it's beautiful. And he knows that it's him that is being spoken about when the daughter tells him the story. But yeah, at the village they spend a nice amazing time together with the grandma, and they enjoy each other's time and presence. And so it was a weird part when she asked about the grandpa, because none of them was willing to talk about it, and because they just kept like looking at the photo and not saying, like, he's dead, he passed on, talk about it. But yeah, so that happened as well. They come back to Nairobi, and Amy's aunt and uncle, because the cousin had found relatives who could take her in, but they already had 5 kids. So Amy was going to be a 6th one in that home. And so they are there waiting for them. And so Amy is told to show them around the house. When they come back out, she already has a backpack in her bag, the one that she arrived with, and she wants to live with the aunt and uncle. And the reason is she overheard the dad talking to the cousin at that moment, saying that he was not ready to be a dad and he doesn't want her around, blah blah blah. And then they have this entire conflict, and I'm like, why? Why? Like, where did it come from? I understand that you have overheard what your dad was saying, but then the way she was arguing and raising her voice and yelling and all of that, was like, yo, babe, you're being a tad bit dramatic. Okay, like, just 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 talk, but I understand emotions and everything. I understand where she was coming from. And so they argue. The daughter lives with the aunt and uncle, and so he's there, he's torn. He goes and meets his boys. Actually, he didn't want to go and meet the boys. He was at home. He had bought 2 dishes, because he had bought for himself and also for the daughter. And so he sat there looking at both of them, and then his phone rings. It's Kim calling him to go and hang out in the car local. And so he's like, I don't want to come, I'm not in the mood, but he insists. So Ricky joins them, and while they're there, the other boys are there, they're talking, everybody's talking and laughing, but he's zoned out, because he's just thinking about his daughter. Eventually he excuses himself and he leaves, goes to the cousin, talks to her, and he and the cousin, they leave to go and pick her up at the aunt's place. When they get there, the daughter doesn't want to come with them, but he insists, because he's the father and you have to do what I'm telling you. And she storms off. He follows her. They go and have a little heart to heart, and then she agrees, and she calls him actually dad for the first time, and they're happy. And I think the movie ends there, with them happy and coming back to play Scrabble and to go to the village and play the wheelbarrow game. I don't know what that meant actually. But yeah, they were in the village again, because he had promised to be seeing his mom more often and to be taking Amy to the grandma every single week. So yeah, that's where the movie sort of ends, if I'm not mistaken. As I said, I usually remember the beginnings, but the endings, I don't know what usually happens. But yeah, that's essentially the movie An Instant Dad. Now, I have notes, and very, very many. I have a lot of things to say about this movie. One, the script by Jennifer Gatero wasn't bad. It was good. But my problem was with the casting. Putting Blessing Lungao to act that part of the instant dad, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. I remember when it came out, because I told you, I usually support local movies. Whenever a local movie comes out, if I have Wi-Fi, I'll watch it, especially if it's on Netflix. I'll go and watch it. I'll make sure I've watched it within the first week of its release, because I love supporting local content. But when this one came out, it was after he had walked out of his daughter's life, and he does not support the daughter or anything. I'm going to say allegedly while talking about this entire issue because I don't want it to get back and I be sued. I don't know for saying what. But allegedly he walked out of his daughter's life and he does not provide child support. He doesn't do anything that a father should be doing for his child. And because of that, even knowing that it's none of my business, I cannot like that man anymore. I used to, but then I can't. And maybe it's because of my own daddy issues. The fact that my own dad does not support me, he has never met me, he doesn't know me, and I never grew up around him. Maybe that's why, for me, it's such a strong feeling that of not liking him because he also walked out on his daughter. And the fact that they look alike, it's so unnerving. Like, there are moments where his whole face, and he has a huge face, it will be put on the screen, like it will cover the entire screen, or okay, like the middle part of the screen. And I'll be like, oh my God, the daughter looks so much like him. And I felt like hate for him. Honestly, I hated him for it because I remembered how I used to say, like, I carried the woman who gave birth to me, I carried her face. And that made me feel some type of way back in the day before I was like, you know what, even if God still got me and God made me this way for a reason. And so I started loving myself. But then I'm like, will the baby come to a point in her life where she will be like, yeah, I carry his face and he didn't want me. So just thinking about all of these things, I know I was projecting my own issues onto him. But yo, I do not know why they cast him as the dad. They could have used anybody else. You know who could have played that part very, very well? Nani? Nick Mutuma. Nick Mutuma would have played that part perfectly. And I know maybe he has always played like a fuckboy and stuff, and maybe he doesn't want to do such movies anymore, but he would have played that part perfectly. Even Pascal Tokodi would have done an amazing job. So I don't know why they went with this guy knowing what he had done, or maybe the casting happened before and they had even shot the movie before everything unraveled and they couldn't do anything about it or recast or something like that. I don't know, but if they cast him knowing what he had done, they are just bad people because you don't do that. And I know you're not supposed to interfere and you're not supposed to be picky, but they should have done a little bit better because I didn't like him. I would have enjoyed this movie much, much more. That's why I've even like shortened the synopsis so much because I don't want to talk about it. Like, I was watching it and my face was just scrunched up because I was like, ew, this guy, ew, this every time he came on screen. There are moments I loved, like his interaction with the daughter, and they were saying this, and I was like, I wish it was a different person who had acted that part. Because I would have loved that part even more. But because it was him, nah. So I don't know why they cast him. I really didn't like him playing that part, honestly. But yeah, there's nothing I could do about it. So the other characters were amazing. Like, okay, it wasn't a lot of other characters because it was just mostly Kim who was talking and the friends at the club. The characters that I do not know why they put them there, the three ladies he took home. Those ladies, I know they were extras, but the thing is, either they've never acted in their entire lives or they were just friends of someone who worked on the movie and they're like, hey, do you want to be, in this movie? And they're like, yeah, come. You'll have just 3 words or you just come dressed like this. Their acting was terrible. Terrible, terrible. The way they say their lines was like, you know how you cram something and you just say it? It wasn't acting, it was terrible. Terrible. Yeah. And the other actors, I love the mom. I love Ricky's mom. She was amazing. She did a good job. The cousin, I'll give her props. She tried. But those three ladies, they were the worst. The other guys, Kim, of course, Nani Peter Kamau, he's an amazing actor. And yeah, one person that everybody who ever watched, was it Selena? Selena would love to hate. But yeah, but Those three ladies, I did not like their acting like at all. The other guys, of course, they acted well. Even Blessing, he's a good actor. It's just that I do not like him anymore. And the little girl who played Amy, I loved her. I really, really loved her. I loved her laugh, or was it her giggle? I loved it, and her dimples. Oh, she was so cute. But yeah, I'm sure. Like, I just love the way she acted. Apart from that part where she was yelling, I know she was just told, like, be angry, just shout at him and say this. And she was doing it like a kid, which is, to be expected. So I feel like she did a good job. She did a better, like, better job than those three ladies. Those ones were terrible. The direction was good. I really don't think there's a part where I felt was problematic really, apart from just the casting for that, like, with that guy. But even, like, as I said, there were good parts in the movie where I love the moments, I love the parts, I love what was happening. But like, the face that was on screen is what I didn't like. The voice that was saying the words is what I didn't like. And so I'm sorry, but this movie was hard for me to watch. Honestly, I loved it, but it was hard for me to watch. Cinematography was good. The music, had the band, had the band are amazing, and they play a couple of their songs in this movie. So go and watch so that you can know which ones were in the movie, and I'm sure you're going to like it. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about the things that I loved in this movie. As I said, I loved Ricky's mom. She spoke Kamba. I loved it. Honestly, I did. The fact that Blessing is not Kamba and the little girl, I think she's Kikuyu, but they chose a different tribe to speak, I loved it. I really, really did, because it's usually like either a Luo thing or a Kikuyu thing. This one they went with a different tribe, which I was amazed by, and I loved it because, like, these guys, they were just laughing at her while she was talking, but I really, really liked her, and I like the way they used Kamba in the movie. As I said, I love the child's laugh and her giggle or whatever it was. I love the way her face, like, her acting was good, like, really, really good. I must say, like, there's a way she was just staring at him at the beginning while he was doing this or that, and I was like, yeah, she really played the part very, very well. And I also loved a very serious topic that they talked about. There's a moment where Ricky and the daughter were in the village visiting the mom. She was supposed to be baptized and they're supposed to go to church, and she was missing her mom because she has never gone to church without her mom, and she hadn't made her hair. The dad was trying to help her, but she didn't want. Everything he did, she refused. She was crying, she was yelling, and so the dad takes her out to near a river to talk to her, and while they talk about grief. And it just made me realize, well, not realize really, but it was a very important topic about grief, whereby you understand that grief does not just end, and it comes in different ways. Like, one day you're okay, the next day you're not okay. It's not like you grieve and then you wake up one day and you're like, oh yeah, my mom, my dad, or my guardian, or I don't know, like a sister or a friend or whoever, like, they died and now I'm okay. It's never that. It comes in waves. Like, my uncle died in 2020, and sometimes I miss him, and sometimes I'm like, you just move on with your life. It's like nothing is missing. But then I go to sleep sometimes and I dream about him and he's smiling, and I'm like, yeah, he's okay. And then sometimes I wake up and I miss him, and sometimes I wake, like, it comes and goes, which is very, very, like, grief is something very, very weird. And also, like, one of my childhood best friends died back in 2011, and even with him, years later, I still have moments where I think about his mom and I'm like, yo, I haven't spoken to her in such a long time. Maybe she thinks that now everybody moved on and, she was left behind and stuff like that. But that's not the case. It's just that you try to make yourself not live in the pain, and so you try to act strong, you try to move on. But those people that we have lost will always be with us in our hearts. And seeing them talk about that part, the daughter saying how much she misses the mom, and the dad saying how much he misses his dad, and because the dad died, he didn't understand what was happening and all of these things. And so when depression hit him, he didn't know how to handle it. And so he pushed everybody that he cared for away. That includes Amy's mom. And because of that, they lost contact for all those years. He just didn't want to take care of anybody else because he didn't know how to. So I love the fact that they addressed it. For me, it was like the basis of this movie. It was a way to help both of them heal. Like Amy coming into Ricky's life, it was to help them both heal from the losses that suffered. And I love that very, very much. Things I did not love about the movie as the conflict that I found it like it was forced. She just comes out of the house and she starts yelling at the dad when he's like, no, you can't leave, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I'm leaving. You don't love me. You don't like me. And I'm like, yo, calm down, calm down. It, like, when did we go to 100? Like, we were just at zero coming from shows. We were happy. And then what? You just changed because you overheard something. Why don't you talk? Come on, calm down. I felt like it was a little bit forced, but I get it was the direction. Like she was told, behave like this. I found like something should have been done, or we would have been shown that. I don't know. I don't know how they would have handled it, but I'm sure there's a different way they could have. I did not like, as I say, the casting of Lungaho. The extras, they were terrible. As I said, didn't like them. Not one bit. Another thing I loved, had the band, hearing them sing. I loved it. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I'll say my overall rating for this movie, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And a 6 is because of Amy, the actress who played Amy. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because of her. But that guy, I think it was just a terrible casting choice. He shouldn't have been casted for this movie unless he was cast before everything that he did. Because you cannot go on screen acting to be an instant dad while the world knows, or at least Kenyans know, that you're a deadbeat dad, allegedly. So, yeah. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I'll give it a 6. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So go watch the movie. It's on Netflix. Then come back and tell me if you agree with me or if you do not, down in the comment section below. And let's discuss about it. If I'm being too judgmental, tell me as well. I know. I agree. Actually, if you think that, I agree with you. I know I am being judgmental. And I'm not sorry about it. Because you're but anyway, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Remember that, okay? So go watch it, then come back and tell me what you feel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notification so that whenever I upload something new, you're always going to be the first one to come and watch, okay?